tonight on First at 9 this Wednesday the 19th of November 2025. Peaceful resolution. Court of Appeals calls on all parties concerned to reach an amicable resolution in the Trincomalee temple dispute. RSVP. Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa confirms his participation at the opposition rally scheduled for the 21st. No more delays. Opposition demands long-delayed provincial council elections to be called immediately. Leader of the House assures government has no intention of further delaying the polls. Degree controversy. Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa raises concern over MP Namal Rajapaksha's English law degree certificate. SLPP challenges government to prove that the document is not genuine.
Kalin baby so rupial 90කට. Kalin baby podi හැමෝටමයි.
This is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9 on Sri Lanka's premium news provider, Derana News Channel. I'm Tarindu Mahendra, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. We begin with your top story this evening. The Court of Appeal today urged the parties involved in the issue concerning illegal constructions at Sri Sambuddha Jayanti Bodhiraja Viharaya in Trincomalee to resolve the dispute amicably. The court made these remarks during the consideration of a petition seeking to prevent the Coastal Conservation Department from demolishing a structure at the temple site.
The petition seeks an injunction to prevent the Coastal Conservation Department from demolishing a structure at Sri Sambuddha Jayanti Bodhiraja Viharaya in Trincomalee was heard today before Justices Dhammika Ganepula and Aditya Patibandige of the Court of Appeal. Counsel for the petitioning party, Shane Foster, informed court that the land had been gifted by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa. He noted that the Coastal Conservation Department issued a demolition order on July 18th and that his client's appeal to the Ministry of Environment was dismissed without proper consultation. Deputy Solicitor General Manohara Jayasinghe, appearing for the Coastal Conservation Department, said the temple had an approved plan and that additional constructions beyond it are illegal. He emphasized the department's authority to remove unauthorized structures under the Coastal Conservation Act. Justice Ganepula suggested a peaceful resolution and proposed a site inspection by coastal conservation officials. Both parties agreed and the Deputy Solicitor General requested 2 weeks for the inspection. The court directed all parties to maintain peace during the proceedings. Justice Patibandige warned that continuation of recent tensions at the site could cause significant harm. The next hearing is scheduled for December 16th. Meanwhile, Chief Incumbent of Sri Sambuddha Jayanti Bodhiraja Viharaya in Trincomalee, Venerable Kalyanavansa Thera, said at a press conference that he hopes to remove the disputed welfare stall from the temple grounds in future. Separately, Tamil National Alliance representatives discussed the issue with the President. Former MP M.A. Sumantiran said the TNA is ready to support any government action against racism.
Today, ITAK held a discussion with the President regarding the issue in Trincomalee. We expressed our agreement with the speech he delivered in Parliament yesterday and emphasized that racism must not be allowed to resurface. We also stressed that this matter should be resolved through proper procedure.
ඔබේ සම හඳුනාගෙන ඖෂධීය ශාකසාරමේ forever face wash එකක් භාවිතා කරන්න. අප වෙනුවෙන් කැපවූ ලංකාවේ අපේ අංක 1 dialogue.
දවටනේ නියම මිල සඳහන් ස්විස් ටෙක් නිෂ්පාදන මිලදී ගන්න. ස්විස් ටෙක් ගන්න ඕන හොඳම තීරණය.
Chief Government Whip Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa says contentious information has emerged regarding the validity of Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna parliamentarian Namal Rajapaksha's law degree. In response, SLPP MP D.V. Chanaka challenged the government to substantiate their claims regarding the authenticity of the degree certificate.
Chief Government Whip Minister Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa claimed in Parliament today that a controversy has arisen regarding Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna MP Namal Rajapaksa's law degree.
Since this morning, articles have been published on various platforms regarding the law degree of MP Namal Rajapaksha, his enrolment at the university, the manner in which he obtained degree from England, the legitimacy of his law degree certificate, and his registration with the law college. Specifically, Nirmala Kannangara, an investigative journalist from Sri Lanka, has revealed these details. Namal Rajapaksa presented the degree certificate he obtained from City University in London to the University of Sri Jayawardhanapura in order to register for a Master of Arts degree. This certificate from London was issued on September 15, 2009. However, the Vice-Chancellor who signed that certificate had resigned on July 23rd of the same year. The signature on that certificate was therefore made 54 days after the Vice-Chancellor's resignation, raising questions in the media. City University of London was officially registered with Sri Lanka's Law College on October 15, 2009. However, Namal Rajapaksa, who claimed to have obtained a certificate from the City University of London, registered with the Law College on September 25, 2009. The Law College accepted his application on the same day, but at the time of his registration, City University of London had not yet been officially recognised by the Law College. Recognition only occurred on October 15, 2009. It is expected that MP Namal Rajapaksa will clarify these issues after the lunch break as usual.
පාර්ලිමේන්තු මන්ත්‍රී නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමා ලන්ච් එකෙන් පස්සේ අර සුපුරුදු පරිදි ඇවිල්ලා මේ ගැන පැහැදිලි කිරීමක් කරයි කියලා. බොහොම ස්තුතියි. නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමා මේ ආණ්ඩුව ඇවිල්ලා 3 ආපු ගමන්ම
You already mentioned this shortly after obtaining a two-thirds majority in Parliament. You discussed this law degree and later went to the Magistrates' Court filing a case regarding both degrees. This is a straightforward matter, Minister Dr. Nalinda. Instead of creating fake news to spread misinformation, it is better to go to the CID and submit the information so it can be taken up legally. The matter has only reached Magistrates' Court number 1. Statements have been recorded from Namal Rajapaksa, but nothing has been reported to the court to date.
නාමල් රාජපක්ෂ මැතිතුමාගේ කට උත්තර ගත්තා. අද වෙනකන් අධිකරණයට කරුණු වාර්තා කළා නේ.
Subsequently, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's spokesperson Manoj Gamage issued a clarification regarding the matter.
They have been searching for the degree certificate of former Speaker Ranwala for months. Information regarding many other alleged fake degree holders have also been revealed. I challenge Minister Dr. Nalinda to verify with the City University of London and report the findings to the CID and the public. Leader of the House, Minister Bimal Ratnayaka, stated in Parliament today that the government has no intention of postponing the provincial council elections. He made this remark in response to a statement by Chief Opposition Whip Gayantha Karunatilaka, who urged the government to hold the elections under the previous system without further delay.
I will now table the report compiled by the Minister of Public Administration, Provincial Councils and Local Government on the Provincial Council Elections Amendment Act. During his budget speech, the President stated that funds have been allocated for the Provincial Council elections and that Parliament should pass the necessary legislation to hold the elections. During yesterday's parliamentary session, the Leader of the House said that a committee would be appointed under the relevant subject minister and that this would be communicated to Parliament today. What we are saying is that the government promised the public that the provincial council elections would be held within 1 year of coming into power. Since elections can be held quickly under the existing mixed member proportional representation system, we as the opposition are ready to extend our full support without wasting time on delimitation and further committees. There is already an existing law for provincial council elections, the mixed proportional local authorities election law. Delimitation is a technical component of that. That is the current issue. Our point is that if the election is held under the proportional representation system, we can conduct it without delay. Otherwise, let's adopt a method that doesn't waste time. The delay itself is not the issue. The election has not been held for the past 7 years. Even the opposition did not conduct it during their time. You are aware of the complications involved in holding an election abruptly. These matters must be resolved through discussion. Otherwise, we have no desire to delay elections. When the rally was announced for the 21st, the President scheduled a meeting in Tangol on the 20th, but he cannot gather a crowd because the public is now dissatisfied with the government. Meanwhile, the DIG has issued a letter to divisional heads in the Hambantota, Galle and Mathura districts regarding how to bring in crowds. Tangol police must bring 397 personnel, Beliatha police 420 personnel and Kirinda 36. This is in writing. I challenge that I will publish it as soon as the Minister or Deputy Minister claims it is false.
Former President Mahinda Rajapaksa confirmed his participation in the opposition coalition's rally scheduled for the 21st of November in Nugegoda. Meanwhile, with just 2 days left until the 21st, opposition representatives shared their perspectives on the upcoming rally.
Never in the history of Sri Lankan politics has a government become this disliked by the people within just 1 year in power. We can guarantee that the rally to be held in Nugegoda on the 21st will be the biggest in the country's history. We are gathering as the opposition on the 21st, setting aside our political differences to speak for the people who have been deceived and to remind the government of its promises. Prominent members of the government, including the president, have claimed that the incident in Trincomalee was orchestrated by us to boost the success of the opposition rally. But was it we who told the SSP to act threateningly towards the terror? Was it we who instructed anyone to assault monks or steal Buddha statues? Is Bima Ratnayaka, who said idol worship is uncivilized, one of us? Is Nalin Hevage, who said the Bodhi tree is useless, one of us? As the government grows fearful of the rally on the 21st, they continue to spread false statements. There is even a risk that fake news may circulate on social media claiming the rally has been cancelled. So we urge the public, despite any challenges that may arise, the rally in Nugegoda on the 21st will go ahead without fail. We are organizing this rally on the 21st to help the people of this country who have been blinded by the government's false promises see the reality. The UNP-SJB coalition is moving separately for now, but there are still 2 more days before the rally. When every party in the country is coming together for this cause, I do not believe the SJB will choose to stay away. There is no limit to how far this government will go to hold on to power. We saw what took place in Sitawak yesterday. They are attempting to secure control through bribes offered to Sarojana Balaya councillor. Dilip Jayaviri is also a member of the opposition and we request him to join the rally. We also urge Sajith Premadasa to join us. Meanwhile, an alms giving was held at the Temple of the Truth Relic last evening to mark former President Mahinda Rajapaksa's 80th birthday, with former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa and several other political figures in attendance. Speaking to media, former President Mahinda Rajapaksa confirmed that he will participate in the opposition coalition's rally scheduled for November 21st in Nugegoda.
මේක ප්‍රතික්ෂේප කරනවා කියන්නේ නැහැ කියලා නමුත් සහයෝගය දෙනවා එනවා කියලා ඔබත් එක්ක සාකච්ඡාව කරා වගේ
නෑ මාත් එක්ක සාකච්ඡා වෙන්නේ නැහැ වෙන අපිට කිව්වේ නැහැ මුත් අනිවාර්යයෙන්ම මම හිතන්නේ සෙනගේනවා අපිට අවශ්‍ය සෙනගනේ
ඒ දැක්සිම විශේෂම උමරව මොකක්ද
මේ අවස්ථාවේ අවශ්‍ය ආණ්ඩුවට විරුද්ධව කතා කරන්න කවුරු හරි
වර්තමාන රජයේ බුදුදහම ගැන දක්වන සැලකිල්ල ගැන
කිසිම සැලකිල්ලක් දක්වන්නේ නැහැ නේ මොකද සැලකිල්ල ගැන කතා කරන්න බෑ.
Let the world look up to you, shoot what you see, be who you wanna be. Search with a smile, create your own style. Gemini live, make moments come alive. Be anywhere, rock anytime. With awesome AI by your side. Be anywhere, rock anytime. Be brilliant, be always intelligent. Download fast, stream it all night. One tap, move, everything feel right. Snap it clean, edit like a pro. Smarter with Gemini, let the magic flow.
Introducing Samsung Galaxy A17 5G. The power to be always intelligent.
Musa Phoenix Natal Fiesta November 13 සිට 16 දක්වා අනුරාධපුර ස්පොට්නික් ක්‍රීඩා පිටියේදී.
A group of government retirees staged a demonstration today urging the government to revise their pension schemes in line with the provisions introduced in the 2025 budget. Meanwhile, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, who arrived at the protest site, urged the government to uphold the commitments it made before coming into power, stressing that the public requires tangible and effective solutions to their grievances.
A group of government retirees who left service between 2020 and 2024 staged a demonstration near Polduwa Junction in Sri Jayawardhanapura Kotte today. The group demanded that their pension schemes be revised in accordance with the amendments outlined in the 2025 budget, asserting that their pension benefits have remained insufficient for the past 4 years. Meanwhile, opposition leader Sajith Premadasa arrived at the protest site.
We call on the government to honour the pledges it made prior to assuming office. This is the most urgent matter at hand, far more important than attending a rally. What the people require are concrete outcomes and real solutions to their problems.
Meanwhile, the trade union action initiated by the Government Medical Officers Association in protest of the government's failure to address the healthcare sector grievances in the 2026 budget continued for the third consecutive day.
The GMOA's Central Working Committee has scheduled to meet next week to decide whether the trade union action should be extended. Following the meeting, we will officially announce our position.
Welcome back to First at 9. Prime Minister Dr. Retiree Amarasuriya says the government is committed to restoring the value of education, which has made Sri Lanka one of the most literate nations in the world, moving away from the current high emphasis on narrow measures of individual success. Meanwhile, the Minister of Education has decided to prioritise schools with fewer than 250 students in the voucher program for school shoes, implemented with the collaboration of local shoe manufacturers. The Erasmus Plus program, a world-leading initiative for international cooperation in education, training, youth and sports, was held yesterday in Colombo under the patronage of Prime Minister Dr. Retiree Amarasuriya.
I think many of you know the value that Sri Lanka has placed on education over the years. This is something that we are proud of. This is one of the legacies of our post-colonial nation, I think, that we can actually be really proud of. Our investment in education and the importance we gave to education, which resulted in the fact that we have such high rates of literacy, that our gender differences when it comes to accessing or achievements in education are barely non-existent, significantly different to our regional neighbors, and that has been the result of decades-long high levels of investment in education. But somewhere along the way, we shifted that emphasis of seeing education as a powerful tool for transformation to something that is simply and purely about individuals and individual success and achievement, and then competition becoming the overriding principle based on which education is designed. This is what we are seeking to change.
Meanwhile, the government has prioritised providing schools with fewer than 250 students the opportunity to purchase shoes from local manufacturers through the voucher program currently administered by the Ministry of Education. A discussion on this initiative was held under the patronage of Minister of Education, Prime Minister Dr. Retiree Amarasuriya and Minister of Industry and Entrepreneurship Development Sunil Handunethi at the Parliamentary Committee Hall. This project, which is being launched jointly by the Ministry of Education and the Ministry of Industrial Development, targets schools with fewer than 250 students, including state schools, to ensure equitable access to school footwear. Schools with 251 to 500 students, schools for children with special needs, and the lay and monastic student communities of Piriven will also receive the opportunity to purchase locally produced school shoes. The Ministry of Education stated that local manufacturers have agreed to provide quality shoes backed by a one-year warranty. The aunt and uncle of known drug trafficker Unakuru Shantha were shot dead by unidentified assailants last night in Tangol. Police suspect the shooting to have been orchestrated by a criminal figure known as Dehi Bale. Meanwhile, this morning, police apprehended a would-be gunman who was planning to murder a businessman and his family in Valigama.
A shooting was carried out around 7 p.m. last night by two unidentified assailants who entered a shop at Kapuhena Junction in Unakuru, Tangol, under the pretext of buying cigarettes. The assailants opened fire at the owner of the shop and his wife, who succumbed to their injuries on the spot. Subsequently, the assailants fled the scene on a motorcycle, and the motorcycle was later discovered by police abandoned in Sinimodara, about 1.5 kilometers away from the scene of the crime. According to the police, the deceased man was 68 years of age, while his wife was 57. The victims have no prior criminal records but are the uncle and aunt of Unakuru Shantha, a criminal linked to drug trafficking. Meanwhile, police have also uncovered that the shop in question had been videotaped by an individual who arrived in a van prior to the shooting, and the recording has reportedly been sent to a notorious underworld figure, Dehi Bale, currently sheltering abroad. Accordingly, police believe the shooting to have been orchestrated by Dehi Bale. Further investigations into the incident are are underway. With the most recent shooting, the number of shooting incidents carried out so far in 2025 increases to 107, resulting in 56 deaths and 53 injuries. Meanwhile, the Western Province North Crime Division today arrested a would-be gunman who was reportedly attempting to murder a businessman engaged in the tourism industry and 6 of his family members in Waligama. The arrest followed a tip-off received by the director of the Western North Crime Division, ASP Rohan Olugala. A T-56 rifle, 30 rounds of live ammunition, a magazine and a motorcycle in the possession of the suspect were also seized by the police. The suspect, who is an army deserter, has revealed that the murder was ordered by a criminal named Army Chuti. The suspect has further revealed that the attack was scheduled to be launched last night during the businessman's birthday celebrations. The initial plan had been to shoot all of his family members and to launch a grenade at the premises. The police suspect the murder to have been prompted by a ransom attempt.
With that, here's a look at more local news across the island in brief. A committee has been appointed to draft a service constitution for specialist doctors. The committee was appointed by Secretary to the Ministry of Health Dr. Anil Jayasinghe following a discussion yesterday in Parliament between President Anura Dissanayake and the Association of Medical Specialists. The committee has been instructed to prepare and submit the draft service constitution before January 20th, 2026. Meanwhile, the Court of Appeal today directed the Minister of Wildlife and several other respondents to submit a report detailing the measures taken by the government to resolve the human-elephant conflict. The order was issued after considering a writ petition submitted by the Centre for Environmental Justice, noting that no action had been taken to resolve the conflict, despite the centre having submitted a series of proposals aimed at minimising its impact. Accordingly, the motion sought an order compelling the respondents to inform the court of the measures adopted to address the issue. In other local news, the night mail train which departed from Badulla for Colombo last night derailed between Idalgassahinna and Ohia due to a landslide that brought down a pile of rocks onto the tracks. However, railway officials took steps to move the rear engine and passenger carriages to Haputale. The railway department stated that as a result of the derailment, trains operating from Colombo on the upcountry line have been restricted to Nanuoya, while trains running from Badulla will only run up to Bandaravela. Additionally, running times of several trains on the upcountry line were altered this morning, but the Calypso tourist train running between Badulla, Demodara and Bandaravela continues to operate as usual. Welcome back to First at 9. In business news today, the Colombo Bourse closed in negative territory today as a result of price losses in counters such as Commercial Bank, Dialogue Asiata and Colombo Dockyard. The benchmark ASPI decreased by 0.09% to close at 23,029.86, while the more liquid S&P Sri Lanka 20 increased by 0.23% to end the day at 6,361.58. Market turnover was 3.81 billion rupees. The materials sector was the highest contributor to market turnover, followed by the capital goods sector. Foreign participation in market activity remained at subdued levels, with foreigners closing as net sellers, offloading shares worth 100 million rupees. Up next, we have Dinuka Dharmasena from Capital Alliance in our next segment, Economic Outlook.
Sri Lanka's economy remained broadly stable during the previous week. Agricultural performance was mixed, with the tea showing year-to-date increase but a slight dip in September, while rubber and coconut recorded a monthly gain despite lower cumulative output. Industrial activity improved, supported by a 4.7% rise in production, and global oil prices moved only marginally. Interest rates were steady, with AWPR easing to 8.34% and the Coleman rate holding at 7.94%, while system liquidity increased to 136 billion rupees. Treasury yields were largely unchanged with strong auction demand. Government financing conditions remain stable.
And with that, here's a look at today's foreign exchange rates. In international economic developments, China has reportedly moved to reinstate a full ban on Japanese seafood imports, escalating tensions following Japanese Prime Minister Sane Takaichi's remarks that a Chinese attack on Taiwan could trigger a military response from Japan. Beijing has demanded a retraction and warned of stern and resolute countermeasures. The dispute is already hitting Japan's economy as the renewed seafood ban jeopardizes a market that once received over 20% of Japan's seafood exports. Meanwhile, mass cancellations by Chinese travelers threaten the key tourism sector. Cultural exchanges are also unraveling, with events, film screenings and performances by Japanese artists in China abruptly cancelled as diplomatic friction intensifies. That's all for tonight from First at 9. Thank you for joining. Have a great night.